afternoon, good evening, and good night once again. So, I just got home from watching Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and um, yeah, as I made a post on Instagram and Facebook, this madness is one of the only words I can think of to describe this movie. It's just insane. um, in I think many good ways, in some ways that were kind of but I think overall kind of enjoyed it. Um, so just gonna give kind of my brief thoughts, general non-spoiler thoughts, for however many of you there are that will actually watch this, and then a little spoiler type stuff. So, which of course will give a warning. So first of all, so going in, um, I heard some of the base, very basic first reactions after the red carpet on Monday. Which it seemed kind of like half half. Um, but one thing that hurt a lot was how good Elizabeth Olsen was in this, and she is. She Wanda slash the Scarlet Witch is great in this movie. Truly, like I said, it's a sequel to Doctor Strange and it's a sequel to WandaVision, really. Um, and you know, like I said, just her performance is great. I mean, and of course, Benedict Cumberbatch is Doctor Strange. It's cool. Rachel McAdams, Christine. Sochi Gomez as introduces America Chavez. Just like I said, overall, good acting, I believe, in a very strange movie. And like I said, literally, when I say this is a Doctor Strange movie, it is a strange movie. To anyone who is a fan of any of Sam Raimi's things, I mean, like movies, i.e., like The Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, any of those things with those horror tinges to them, you see his fingerprints all over this. This is truly his movie. I mean, it's a movie in the Marvel universe, which it of course connects to, like I said, original Doctor Strange and WandaVision mainly, with little hints to other things, but it's pretty much it's kind of self-contained, other than from the rest of the MCU, which is not a totally bad thing. Like on Disney Plus recently, Moon Knight completely, for all intents and purposes, completely separate from the MCU. I mean, we know it's in the MCU, but little ties. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna. It's not a spoiler. It's just as far as the movie itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this little disclaimer. When they said that they were, this is going to be like the first real horror movie in the MCU, they weren't kidding. This, like I said, again, this is Sam Raimi's movies. Um, yeah, so you have a lot of MCU, Marvel, normal fun, but this movie is dark. It has really dark parts to it. um, there's, without spoiling anything, I'll do that in a little bit, but there are deaths in this, not just like fighting Thanos's army, just killing off random whatever. No, there are like character deaths in this. Yeah, like in a way that we haven't seen in this. Like on the verge of goriness. you know, um, but overall, it. See, I want to say a pretty solid movie overall, which I think it was, but there was a little something missing for me. I mean, I would probably give it like a B. As far as compared to the many great Marvel movies we have, I would give it, yeah, like a B, B minus. And again, not to say that the movie isn't good. It's just such a departure that it's just it's kind of hard. I think, and I think that's the thing was some people I heard initial reviews didn't care for it, or they were like 50-50, and I can understand that watching this because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the heck out of a lot of it, but there were a couple of things that were kind of like, what? And like I said, I think it is because it is kind of jarring being truly a horror movie at times. Um, would I recommend seeing it? Of course, yes, definitely. um, you know, so well, okay. That being said, because you can't really, again, yes, this is just my off the cuff after seeing it basic reaction, but really, I don't think you can really describe this movie a lot without going into spoilers. Other than what you've seen in the trailers, America Chavez. If you know the comics or not, she's a character who can travel between universes herself, and you know you find out from the beginning of the movie, so it's not a major spoiler. As some people had speculated, kind of as you see at the end of WandaVision, she's got the dark hold. Wanda is the villain of this movie. I mean, in some ways, as you also see, Strange is, but if there is an antagonist in this movie, it is the Scarlet Witch, and she goes full Mad Wanda. Um, so, and like I said, I mean, I'm gonna try to think of the major beats, but I'm sure I've forgotten something after just still trying to figure out analyzing this. So, for any of those that don't want to hear any type of spoilers, let's see, it is 6:53 of my counter, and of course, before when I post this, I'll see where it is and make a little note in the comic. You have been warned. If you don't want to know any spoilers about this movie, tune out now. You've heard the basic thoughts. Very interesting, very weird movie. Great possession, presentation. Of course, by Benedict Cumberbatch, Benedict Wong. When we see Wong, like I said, of course, Elizabeth Olsen is really like a not breakout performance, like new, but I mean, just a great performance in this movie. So yes, you have been warned. Okay, so the movie starts out as if you've seen the trailers or the TV spots, the battle with the tentacled I forgot what they call him now. Not Shumagorath, even though that's what he is, Shumagorath. Um, Gargantos is what they call him. And Stephen is at Christine's wedding. Um, so of course, we get harken back to their relationship in Doctor Strange. So he's at her wedding. Then hell breaks loose. Well, okay, excuse me. Let me back up. Movie starts with we see a variant of Strange and America Chavez on the run from a creature, and trying to head towards this book, which is the Book of Vashanti. And any comic fan knows that name. I mean, if you know Doctor Strange, you know the Vashanti. If not really what they are, the name. Like the Eye of Agamotto, the Book of Ashanti. Anyways, and the monster catches up and injures uh, what's he's called, I think, in the promotion material, Defender Strange. I guess because he's defending America Chavez in general. But he sees he realizes, I guess, the only way to keep his power away from the creature who's trying to seek her power is to take it himself, and he kind of betrays her. She gets captured, and then she opens the star portal out of fear, and they go flying through. So, and then they wind up in our universe, or the 616. Um, and like I said, and you see our Doctor Strange, at Christine's Palmer's wedding. Um, then there's the attack by Gargantos, Shimagorbath, and trailers trying to get America, and it's just it's a cool, of course, fight scene, which you see much of it in in the clips released, um, and uh, after he saves her, uh, excuse me, I mean, when he's fighting her and everything, at one point, he and Wong, they through their magics manifest these weapons, and at one point, Strange literally throws this weapon into Gargantos's eye and rips it out. You see this huge eyeball. So you get your first glimpse of the actual horror aspects, a little bit of gore that is going to be in this movie. Um, from there, we have some exposition, um, where Strange talks to America. We see Wanda. You know, well, in a moment we see Wanda. Uh, really. Um, but America is Wong says bring America to Comertage so she's safe, and since they're dealing with magic and runes and stuff, they figure it has to be witchcraft instead of sorcery. So I always kind of thought they were kind of the same, but I guess I mean this is kind of saying they are different. So, anyways, um, so Strange goes to Wanda, which you see in the trailers, clips in the field, and that turns out to be a hex like Westview that Wanda made, and the entire area is just destroyed from the dark hold and from her. Um, and basically, it's revealed then, like right within the first. I know a lot of people saw the first 20 minutes, so I guess this was like right after what they had saw it. Um, and it's revealed Wanda's behind this all because Wanda wants this power, of course, so she can see Billy and Tommy again. You know, and again, anyone who's seen WandaVision, you know how much she loves those children, that in our world she created, but it's explained in the multiverse. She actually has those children, and I do like they kind of touched on a theory that people have had before, as far as what dreams are. A lot of people wonder in general. There's always been a thing: what are dreams exactly? Kind of like what is our consciousness exactly? But what is dreams exactly? And what some have speculated before, and Doctor Strange kind of takes this too, is that maybe we're tapping into other versions of ourselves, other multiverses. When we're dreaming, we're actually seeing events. Um, so they play on that. Um, and, of course, Strange tells Wanda, nope, that's not going to happen. Wanda comes and attacks Comertage, which is ridiculous. I mean, not like in a bad way, but in a good way. I mean, Wanda, just like I said, full Scarlet Witch, not taking any prisoners. Um, and battle happens in there, and during it all, of course, uh, America. It looks like they're gonna lose. America opens another portal, and then from the trailer and TV spots, that scene where they're falling through different realities, and they finally pop up on I forget what the designation of it was. I think it was like 19 something, um, which is the world where we have the Illuminati. And see, this is the thing where a lot of people have speculated this was maybe kind of like a multiversal Illuminati. I think this was just the Illuminati for this world specifically. So, yeah, yeah. I mean, well, Strange and America have a little heart-to-heart chat as they're going through this world, and they come to the Sanctum Sanctorum where there's a statue of Strange, where it says he sacrificed himself battling Thanos, greatest Avenger, and he's like, what in the world? And then we see Carl Mordo is the sorcerer supreme in this world, and he invites them in, tricks them, finds out he's part of the Illuminati, which was founded by that world Strange, who apparently he himself got corrupted by the Darkhold. And we find out this by meeting the Illuminati. We see John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. Um, I think that is Anson Mount from the Inhumans TV show as Black Bolt in his full, black hooded with a tuning fork glory. um, and, we see Captain Carter, Haley Atwell. We see Maria Rambeau, Captain Marvel, and we see Patrick Stewart in the floating yellow chair, which as you think about it, you see it, you kind of think in the cartoon, but really seeing kind of like a live version how oversized that chair is. I mean, how it weird it looks. I mean, I think they could have slimmed it down at least a little, but anyways, it is what it is. And I have to say, of course, I mean, again, Patrick Stewart's voice was in the first teaser, and then there was that little spot that we see the yellow chair. Um, it was so awesome as he's coming in to hear da 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 to hear a few notes, just a few notes from the X Men the Animated Series theme. That was freaking awesome. Um, yeah, unless my brain, for some reason, I heard the theme from the movies and it tricked me, but I'm pretty sure it was the theme from the animated series. Yeah, and yeah, it was. My brain is now, I'm overthinking myself. And of course, we hear versions of Doctor Strange's theme at one point, and there was, oh, of course, Wanda. During it, we hear one of the themes from one of the episodes of WandaVision. I mean, and the music, which is I know Danny Elfman, is really great throughout it. Um, Except one part we'll get to, which I didn't really care for. That's music related. But anyways, so and then we have a variant of Christine who works for the Illuminati. More and more exposition, and as we find out, as I said, that's Strange. Even though the world thinks he died a hero fighting Thanos, he after they defeated Thanos, because he had already been corrupted by the Darkhold, he was killed by Black Bolt. That was like I guess the Illuminati's decision. And you hear Black Bolt speak, "I'm sorry," and just obliterates him, atomizes him. Um, and that was cool to see. And then Wanda possesses what they call dream walking. You know, her other self. So kind of like the theory again that when we dream, we're actually seeing alternate versions of ourselves. But through the dark hole, you can dream walk, which is take possession of one of your alternate versions. And we see her do that with Billy and Tommy. Go off to the Illuminati, and she hold on. She freaking wrecks shop. I mean, like I said, Wanda is not playing in this, and she murks all the Illuminati. She takes them out. You know, we have Black Bolt, of course, which they even say at one point, you might want to be careful. Black Bolt could kill you with a single word, and he kind of smirks. And then I guess Wanda kind of, oh yeah, she's like, well, yeah, how does that work when you don't have a mouth? So I guess since Wanda can alter reality, she alters his mouth, which was, out of the Matrix, and it was kind of odd, but it worked. And so he kind of, gives himself an aneurysm and or his voice is reflected back to him and blows his brain out. And you're like, what the fuck is this? She, we do see Mr. Fantastic stretch briefly, and then she basically takes that and stretches him out and takes him apart. We see, um, um, yeah. Then she has a battle with Captain Marvel. Yeah, Captain Marvel and Captain Carter, which we see, her, that brief glimpse of her fighting Captain Marvel in the trailer and spots, which some people were thinking might have been Superior Iron Man, which I could tell that wasn't, what one, what people were thinking was maybe going to be Tom Cruise. One that was a black person, so I knew it was Maria Rambeau. But yeah, and they hold her off for a little bit, and we kind of get that after WandaVision. That kind of argument of between Darcy and and Maria of who's stronger, Carol or Wanda. We kind of get a version of that with Maria and Wanda, and then and she she pulls a statue over Captain Marvel and squishes her, and she's battling Peggy, Captain Carter. The shield is thrown, this and that. She catches it, throws it back, and slices her in half. It's just like, what in the world? We don't see her slice in half, but like, she, it basically it goes into her gut, and then we see it pulled out with blood on it. So it's just like, this movie was definitely brutal. um, and then again, Strange and Mordo have a little fight. He beats him, gets the best of Mordo, if you will. Which I guess he didn't even know his name was Carl to begin with, and he joins back up with America and Variant Christine as they're escaping Wanda. They all great escape to to another world, well, to where the Book of Ashanti is, and yeah, Wanda follows them there. She destroys the book right away. It's just like Jesus, you know. And she gets a hold of America. Oh, and one thing I have to say again, as a comic lover, of in general, and knowing the character of Wanda Maximoff and her history, we got to see a version of Wundagore Mountain, and I mean, Wong gave the explanation, and so we have Wundagore Mountain. We had Chthon, as the Darkhold was destroyed by one of the sorcerers, and then Wong reveals those are just copies of what's etched in the on the walls in the halls of the temple on Wundagore Mountain. So that's a cool nod. I was kind of hoping maybe we'd see like the High Evolutionary or something as well. But still, we got that, and we saw, I guess, um, these demon entities. I think they're called in comics. They're like the Nagari, Chthon servants. But anyways, so that was we we have Wanda there trying to uh, take America's power, and then we have Strange, who was in another dimension, him and Christine, after they lost America. Wanda opened a portal, sent them through, and it's to another world with a sinister or dark Strange. Um, and where a lot of us were thinking maybe it was the one from What If, it wasn't. Um, it's just another variant who tried to take power for whatever his reasons were, and things didn't go well. Um, and he only, I guess, caused an incursion, which the Strange from the Illuminati's world did too. And I found this interesting too. The incursions, for those who don't know, was something that's part of the Secret Wars, or leading up to the Secret Wars arc, Battle World, where various universes, Earths, were colliding with each other, as they kind of said in the movie, and then until one's destroyed, if not both. And I thought it was interesting that they brought that concept in, but that's kind of a grand concept, to tackle beyond this. So will it go? Will we see more of this? Um, I think we may, but we'll get to that. So and then Strange has a duel with his darker version, a music duel, which was kind of weird. It's cool to watch, but at the same time, it was really weird. Kind of like in for those again who watch the What If series, the episode with Supreme Strange, Sinister Strange, however you want to call it. There's one thing where we see Wong uses words, like lift off the page to then cast a protective spell on him. So kind of in that vein, we see each of the Stranges lift these music notes off the pages and use them as weapons, and there's like a music battle. So that was really kind of odd, but again, this is a movie of madness. So, um, and so he gets the Darkhold from that version of Strange, and he dream walks into one of his other selves. But of course, in the 616, I mean, he is the 616, but that previous Defender Strange, which was killed by the entity, by the entity earlier, he takes him over, and like I said, total deadite, like our Evil Dead Army of Darkness vibes, the way he looked and everything. Like myself and others, again, we saw that we were thinking maybe we were getting zombie strange from, I mean, it was a zombie strange, but like as far as like Marvel zombies, or a version of that. But no, it was just a dead strange that he took over his body to go fight Wanda. And during this point, of course, Wanda has Wong, because that's how she got to Wundagore, and thrown him off the cliff. He saved himself, and yada yada yada. Um, and when all's said and done, then it's Zombie Strange has a talk with America, letting her know that she can control her power and everything, and she takes Wanda, our Scarlet Witch, to back to the world of the body that she inhabited, and sees how afraid Billy and Tommy are of her, and that kind of breaks her down. Which is that scene where we see Wanda looking at Wanda and touching her cheek, and then she basically, yeah, as she said the line, she was like, "I'm not a monster," and then she realizes she is a monster. So she tears down the Temple of Chthon so no one can access the Darkhold again, which I guess destroys all Darkholds across every universe. And okay, so we basically see the Scarlet Witch bury herself. Is she dead? I highly doubt it. I mean, that's kind of a anticlimactic way to go, in my opinion. And two, Elizabeth Olsen is so great in this role, it would be injustice not. So, I'm sure she put herself in a protective bubble or something. But anyways, um, and or I have a feeling, we also know there's a show coming up, House of Harkness. So I wouldn't be surprised if she pops back up in there. Um, though, you know that there's a line from WandaVision. Well, when she defeats Agnes, she was like, "You don't know what you've unleashed. You're gonna need me for what's to come." So the question is, was she referring to this multiverse issue or some grander thing coming up, or I guess like maybe Secret War type thing or whatever, the incursions and whatnot. Um, but yeah, and it's like I said, so things kind of get not completely wrapped up in a pretty bow, but we see Stephen, our Doctor Strange, confess to alternate Christine that he loves her. He loves every version of her across the multiverse, and they're like, it won't work, and we see him back in his life, and then this ending was kind of really odd for me, but again, it's I guess leading to something. So one thing, when he was battling Sinister Strange, he had his third eye open, which I'm still not quite getting the importance of that. Um, but I mean, I know what the third eye symbolizes in the real world. Um, but so, anyways, and we see him just like in pain, and then the third eye opens, and then the credits start rolling, and then we have our mid credit scene, which looks almost exactly like that, except I guess is like right after that, because then we have Clea, who is, I believe that was Charlize Theron. That's why I'd heard would be Clea, and it did look like her. So we have Clea come in because an incursion has happened, I guess, with her world, and she cuts into what looks like the dark dimension, and that's it for Doctor. Oh, and she's like, "Are you? Unless you're afraid." He's like, "No." And the third eye opens, and they go in, and we get a Doctor Strange will return. It's like, okay, where will Doctor Strange return? Where's he gonna pop up next? But yeah. And the final scene. Okay, so I forgot earlier in the movie, we have of course, being a Sam Raimi movie, we have a Bruce Campbell cameo where he's a what was it called? Pizza pots. Yeah, pizza pots. In their world, pizzas are like in balls. So pizza pots vendor that irritates Strange, and he casts a spell that makes him like keep slapping himself and stuff. And so the end scene, very end after the credits, is like kind of like a fourth wall break. He's like, it's over. Like all that insanity was over. So yeah, this movie was all over the freaking place. I love seeing the Illuminati. They look great. I wish we would have gotten more of them. Um, oh, and I completely even forgot one of the things during the battle and all. Of course, Professor Xavier accesses the Wanda's mind that's being controlled by Scarlet Witch and tries to save her. Doesn't work, and you know what? And oh yeah, and then on the astral plane, because I guess that's where it was. Wanda snaps his neck, and we see him slump over in a chair. Like I said, seriously, this movie is brutal at times. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it for what it was. Like I said, I think I'm gonna need a little time to process it, and I mean, of course, whenever I do watch it again, maybe it'll get a new perspective on it. Because there's so much that went on in that movie, um, and like I said, so much that I did like, and I wish that there would have been more of. Um, but and then of course, like I said, a couple beats here and there that I didn't really care for. But that's the way cinema goes. Very rarely will you get what's we'll term as a perfect movie or something that satisfies everyone. So that being said, that is my not brief non and spoiler synopsis of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. As always, feel free to share, subscribe. Hopefully, give me a like if you like my content. And like I said, hit that little bell for notifications. Feel free to leave a comment. Let me know if you saw Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, what you thought of the movie, um, where you think we're going from here, and of course, what you thought of my goofy self. So, as always, thank you for watching.